Your 20s are supposed to be this time of a great transformation, where you emerge from the cocoon of your teenage years and blossom into an adult butterfly capable of taking on the world. But it's rarely that smooth and simple for most of us. In fact, for a lot of us, it's actually a time of great struggle and great difficulty. I'm 30. I turned 30 in January of this year, and since we're about halfway through the year, I thought, I've had some time to reflect. I might have some opinions that could be useful. It might be the ramblings of a crazy person, or they might be helpful to someone out there. Let's dive into it. The first thing that I would tell myself if I could jump in a time machine, see myself when I turned 20 and actually have a heart-to-heart, is that it's okay to not know what you want to do. Our whole high school career, we're told, you've got to know what you want to major in, you've got to pick out your college, this is going to decide your entire future, and you need to know what it's going to be. They tell us we're too young to get a tattoo because that's a major life-altering decision. And yet somehow at the same time, we're expected to know what we want to do with the rest of our lives and somehow be able to pick a college that's going to decide everything as well. But I'm here to say it's okay to not know. It's okay to not know what college you want to go to. It's okay to not know if you want to go to college at all. I took a year off to study abroad in between high school and the first time that I went to college. And it was a really beneficial period for me. It let me grow up a little bit and figure out a little bit more about what I wanted. Yet I still didn't know really where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. I felt rushed into getting back into school as soon as I touched ground in the United States again. I didn't really think about what major I would choose and how that would impact my entire life going forward. The adults in your life might tell you that you have to have it all figured out, that you have to know what's going to happen. But the truth is, no one knows anything. I mean, heck, I'm 30 and I still don't really know much of anything at all. And I don't think I'm that weird. I think most people don't know what they're doing with their lives and are just figuring it out on the job. So don't stress out if you don't know what you want to do with your life. It's okay to figure it out as you go. Building off of that is the second thing that I tell myself, which is that no one's path in life is straightforward. You don't pick what you want to be, start at point A, and just progress smoothly on to point Z. It doesn't work that way. Life is full of twists and turns, setbacks and leapfrogs. You might change careers. You might decide to pursue a passion and start it off as a side hustle and then turn it into a whole small business. Even if you know what you want to be, even if you're, 18, graduating high school, and for example, that you want to be an artist. You want to make art full-time, and that's all you want in life. Well, just because you know that doesn't mean it's going to be a straight shot to a full-time income as an artist. I knew that I wanted to be an author since I was like 7 years old, and my path to get there was full of so many turns, so many setbacks. I thought I was going to pursue traditional publishing for the longest time, and I decided at the drop of a hat that I would rather be a self-published author. That worked out for me, but it doesn't always work out for everyone. And for some of the people that it does work out for, it doesn't happen as quickly as it did for me. My first book that I published was a pretty instant success. Now, I did a lot of hard work to make sure that it would be a success, but there's also a healthy amount of luck that goes into any situation like that. It was the right time and the right book to hit lightning with. Life is about the journey, not the destination, and you should enjoy that journey. Enjoy moving around and trying new things. Don't try to just charge forward with blinders on, because you're going to miss out on some pretty awesome things if you do. The next thing I tell myself is that it's okay to have more than one passion in life. I thought that because I loved writing from a very young age, that it was the only thing I was allowed to enjoy, that I couldn't want to pursue anything else in life. Writing was the only thing out in the world for me. And for the longest time, I neglected some of my other interests because of that. I'd always been interested in photography, but that was kind of more of my little sister's thing. And so I just kind of didn't look into it. I never tried to learn anything about the various different types of shots that there are. I never tried to learn about color correction or anything like that. Heck, I still don't know much about photography. I'm just now starting to get my feet wet with it. I don't really know all that I don't know, but I'm enjoying the learning process. I also didn't try to explore art as a hobby. I took an art class in my senior year of high school, and it was kind of amazing. I was really surprised by what I was able to do by the end of the semester, and yet I didn't take it any further than that, because all I was doing was taking it as an elective to fill a slot in my schedule. My older sister was the one who did art all the time, and that was her thing. My thing was writing. I had to stay in my lane, and not because, just because I say these were my sister's things, I don't say that to mean that they didn't want me to explore those things. It's not like I expressed an interest in drawing and my older sister was like, no, that's my thing. My older sister's always been incredibly encouraging. But for some reason, I had this idea that we all had our one thing, and that's what we were supposed to stick with. The truth is, humans are complicated. We like multiple things, and that's okay. It's okay to like writing and drawing at the same time. It's okay to enjoy music and coding. Things don't have to be related for you to be allowed to like them, and you certainly don't have to stick with one thing for your entire life. Pursue anything that makes you happy. It can be a hobby. It doesn't have to be a side hustle. It doesn't have to be a career. If something makes you happy, that's the only thing that's important when it comes to whether or not you should pursue it. Another thing that I am still struggling to commit to heart is that failure is a part of life. You're not going to be perfect at everything the first time you try it. Failing is part of learning. It's part of existing. When we fail at something, we learn how not to do something. We learn what doesn't work. And that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes and to not know what you're doing. It's okay to need to learn something. It's okay to need to ask people how they do something. You shouldn't be trying to figure things out in a vacuum, and you shouldn't beat yourself up because you didn't get it right the first time or the second time or the 10th time. Just because you fail at something doesn't mean you should never try it again. I really struggle with this, where I feel like I have to get everything exactly right the very first time that I try. And if I don't, then it means I was never meant to do this. I shouldn't try again. I should move on to something else. That's ridiculous. We should be welcoming of our failures. We should be willing to mess up, learn from it, and try again. You might feel like failure is a bad thing. It's this horrible boogeyman that society has made it out to be. But really, it's just part of the process of living. And the last thing that I think I would tell myself, possibly the most important thing I would tell my 20-year-old self, is that nothing in life is guaranteed. You have to live in the moment, and you have to be willing to pivot. I thought when I became an author that that was it. You know, I had made it and I was going to keep writing books and keep publishing for the rest of my life and everything was going to go smoothly. Obviously, that didn't happen because I haven't published in years. Just because I haven't published in a while doesn't mean I'm never going to again. But the important takeaway here is just because you think you found something doesn't mean it's going to be around in 2 or 3 years. It doesn't mean it's going to be around in 5 months. You have to appreciate what you have when you have it. Don't live life 10 steps ahead thinking about what you're going to do next. Live life enjoying what you have now and appreciating it and knowing that it's important to you. You could get sick tomorrow. You could get hit by a bus the next time you cross the street. We don't know what the future holds, and that's okay. We don't need to. What we do need to do is appreciate what we have in the here and now. That's something that I'm still struggling with. I'm always thinking about what am I going to do next year? What am I going to do in 6 months? What am I going to do in 10 years? I like to plan things. But the truth is, what's that saying? Life is what happens when you're making other plans. I think that's it. I might be wrong. The point is, you can make all the plans in the world, but fate is going to do what it wants to do. You know, life is going to happen the way it's meant to happen, regardless of what you wanted to have happen. And that's okay. It's okay for things to change. It's okay for things to not pan out exactly how you thought they would. You just need to appreciate what you have while you have it. That's all I'm saying. I guess the gist of what I'm saying is that it's okay to be lost, scared, and confused. Just because you left the awkward teenage years behind doesn't mean you're going to magically have it all figured out the very second that you turn 20. Your 20s are for learning and growing. But no matter how much you learn in that decade, you're still not going to turn 30 and have it all figured out either. You're just going to have more knowledge to help you navigate the world than you did when you turned 20. Life is a growing process. Don't beat yourself up for not being max level at the start of the game. Go at your own pace. You're going to get where you need to be. Alright, that's all I had to say. That's the end of my rant. Thank you so much for listening, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Bye.